Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, CETSHWAYO, a.k.a. Coach Byrd, and I am the host of the BYRDCAGE Show. Cousin Tracey?
Hey.
We are back at it, episode number 17.
Yes,
episode number 17. How's your week going? You know what I'm saying?
My week is actually going great.
Okay,
We're,
okay.
Honing in on the first day of school.
True. It is rapidly approaching.
Summer's almost over.
Summer is almost over.
And I ain't do nothing all summer.
All I did was coach.
I took a trip to, I didn't do that many beach days though.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I need to do more. Like,
well, I think too, stuff is just starting to kind of open back up too, so that kind of shuts stuff down a little bit as well. You know
but I still got time because like summer really doesn't end until September 21st, right?
True.
And then hopefully, because it ain't really been a hot summer this year.
Really? Yeah, like that last week.
Yeah, like a 2 week. So maybe I could get an Indian summer and just still do some beach moments. But you know, I kind of like going to the beach in the early fall when it's warm with the breeze.
Okay, with a little breeze.
Yeah, so maybe I could still get some beach days. And
not a lot.
I need a 2020 do-over. I need a 2020 do-over and a 2021 do-over. I need a do-over.
They owe us 2 years.
They owe us.
Yeah,
you know, we ain't really get to celebrate your 50th. That was the 2020 debacle.
Right, true.
And summer 2021, I thought I was going to be outside.
True indeed.
Thought I was going to be outside.
Yeah, indeed. Speaking of 50, I got another one coming up. Couple days away.
It's not 50 though.
Well, it's not 50. Well, this one after 50.
Granted, I just said we needed a do-over, but the reality of it is it's the one after 50. Right.
Very true.
Because you're making room for me to turn 50.
There we go. Well, today, we just want to talk to our viewers out there for a little bit. You know, our coaches that watch, our parents that watch, our student athletes that watch. And today we just kind of want to talk about the importance of building relationships, building positive relationships, meaning relationships between coach and their players, relationships between coach and parents, relationships between coaches and other coaches, whether they be on your staff or other staffs or whatnot. And we just want to, give our, like we say, humble opinions, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments. If you agree, if you disagree, something that you might want us to touch on, we will definitely take that into consideration. But today on episode 17, we're going to be talking about building relationships. So, cousin, I'm going to start with you. Why do you think it's so important to have these positive relationships between coaches and players, coaches and parents, coaches and coaches?
And also it's important to have a good relationship between parent and athlete.
True.
Let's be clear about that, because sometimes there's some disconnect there when the parents expect something or want something from the kid, and that may not be the kid's idea of what he or she wants for themselves.
Very true.
So I believe in all aspects of life, especially athletics, it's imperative that you try to build a positive relationship. Positive relationships help you grow as a person, right? And it helps you grow individually, and it helps you grow collectively, especially when you can have an open dialogue and open relationship with your coach and with your parents and with coaches with parents, because everybody can be transparent, right? And everybody can put out the energy that they want to receive back. And positive relationships, again, help you grow. So if you got a good relationship and an open dialogue, everybody knows what to expect from each other. And when you have an open relationship, a lot of times the outcomes are more positive when you have a good open relationship, a transparent relationship in any relationship.
Right.
Because
True.
That's the key. It's the ship part. You got to keep it floating. So in order to keep the ship floating, you have to have, it's got to be smooth sailing.
Right.
You don't want it to be rocky.
True.
So in order to have a great relationship and to get a positive outcome, it's imperative that you build a good relationship, be transparent.
True.
Communication. People in relationships all the time talk about communication.
That's the number one on the list.
Right. And if you can't communicate what you want and how you feel and your feelings and have an open dialogue, there's not going to be any progression. The ship won't sail.
True.
Right. It'll be rocky roads.
True. And just coming from a coach's aspect, like you said, I've seen over my years of coaching, the better the relationship, with your players, the more success you tend to have.
Right.
And I'm not even measuring success in wins and losses all the time, but like you're going to get the most out of that kid.
And the growth.
They're going to get the growth out of that kid. You know what I'm saying? On and off the court.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? And you know, academically, you can see them getting better grades, good grades, things like that. And of course, you know, on the court, on the field, on the diamond, wherever you're playing. You know what I'm saying?
But I think the relationship part of it is so there'll be no confusion on, again, the outcome, right? So if we're all open and we're transparent, and you as and I could take criticism as a coach, and I could take criticism as a parent, and I could take criticism as a athlete, because I have an open relationship and a positive relationship with my coach and the coaching staff. It's a win-win, right? It's about the growth, about the development, and about teaching. And if we can have that communication where we all are on the same page, and I as a coach can tell you what I expect from you as a player, as a parent, and I can tell you what I see in you and what your potential you have, and where our relationship is to the point where we're open and we're confident in each other and each other's abilities, you're right. You're going to get the best out of everybody. You're going to get the best parent you can get. You're going to get the best athlete you can get. And as a coach, a head coach, you're going to get the best staff. Like, once you get people to buy in, once you like my person, I mean, and here's the thing. Let's be clear, parents. You don't always have to like your child's coach. You just have to agree and believe in what they're teaching and what they're practicing. You know what I mean? Because personalities, let's get it. Everybody ain't gonna like everybody.
True.
You know what I mean?
I know.
You know, everybody ain't gonna like everybody. And trust and believe, I know I'm not everybody's favorite person. You know what I mean? But my thing is, if you're honest, if you're upfront, and if you're transparent, you don't always have to like me, but one thing you will do is respect me. You know what I mean? And once you establish that relationship where is built upon respect, you're going to get your loyalty. You're going to get everything that comes into play with the relationship, so you can get what? The better outcome.
That's true.
And you know, ultimately it's about the outcome.
Yeah, true. I mean, you know, like we said, however you want to measure success, you know what I'm saying, the wins and losses, or just seeing this kid progress, going on to play, you know, in college, and you know, moving on from college, and, you know, so I know it's a small percent maybe to the next level, but just being productive young men and women in society, you know what I'm saying, and just growing and seeing, especially when I see my players, you know, when they come back to the school to help out, or I just see them out in Walmart or somewhere, and they got families of their own and things like that, and, you know, the relationship that we built, it still goes on. Like, they'll still call, like, yo, Coach Byrd, such and such and such and such,
but
or things like that.
I also do know some parents that build relationship with coaches, and it becomes not just you as my child's coach, they kind of become friends. Now, as a parent, I think that my child's supposed to get more playing time, more diamond time, more track time, more that. And I've seen that. I've seen coaches that build a relationship with a parent, or the parent comes around and brings the snacks and all the waters, or spends more time than the next parent. Then all of a sudden, that kid goes from the bench to the starter. See, and that relationship I have a problem with.
Most definitely.
Because I still believe, as far as it comes to talent, as a coach, you need to let the parent know when you're developing these relationships, I play the players that fit the needs.
Based on their talent.
Based on the talent, but fit the needs of what I need at the moment.
At the moment, right.
So say I run a play, basketball for instance, I run a play, I need a shooter on the floor. I'm going to put more shooters on the floor than maybe a bunch of big men. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm doing a running play, I might put my running back, halfback, nickelback on the field. You know what I mean? So I gotta, I'm going to put the players in the place where I need them for the outcome of the team as well.
Not based on the
relationship with the parent, right? And I think parents get that confused. They think because they hang out with the coach outside of the arena or the playing field, that it gives my kid an upper hand. So I think coaches need to understand that too. When you're developing these relationships, keep it professional, right?
That's the
and
word.
Let's not keep it professional, and let's not make it personal. You know, I know, and I know I'm gonna make some people mad. I know a couple moms that done slept with some coaches so their kids will play. And that's
that's an unhealthy relationship.
Very
You know what I'm
unhealthy,
saying?
and it's toxic for the team
Toxic,
because now that
exactly.
word get out and
Right,
other
everybody-
players find out,
know,
like, yo,
and-
your mom,
yep.
only reason why you playing cause. And listen, this goes back to Little League. I know moms that will wear the sexy clothes and will be doing all the stuff so their son can
To get some more playing
stop.
time. Yeah, that's
Having a healthy relationship with your child's coach, the coaching staff, and other parents of the players is one thing. But being toxic is something totally different.
That's the opposite of how we want to build relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That is the opposite
And I know,
of how we want to build
listen,
relationships.
I know some people
Parents.
going to get mad, but
it's the
I'm
truth,
telling
though.
you.
Hey, we speak the truth here on the BYRDCAGE Show.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
I try to speak the truth. And
we-
also, too, y'all just need to trust in the coach. And if you're building a dynamic or a relationship with the coach, it's about trust, it's about loyalty, it's about trusting in that person's ability to train and develop your player. And again, that's the ultimate outcome you want, is the development on and off the field, on and off the court. You want the development to transpire.
True indeed.
And that goes into a dialogue. Remember I said I did something on Facebook, I posted about what kind of coaches are we putting in front of our kids.
Yes.
And and this all ties into relationships because
let's speak about
my grandbaby currently played baseball. It was the first time in a long time that I participated in baseball. Very long time. So I, being a coach and knowing the game, played the game, went to college to play the game, I kind of know, and I'm not an expert because I don't focus on my coaching craft for baseball. When baseball season comes about in middle school, I brush up. So I brush up on some drills and stuff, and I contact you. So I know how to get the middle school boys ready for the middle school games that we play through Kansas City School District. But I don't perfect my craft. So I don't pretend to know everything. But what I do know is I watch some of these coaches interact with these children, and my thing is, are we putting the best people to develop and build relationships with our players and with our athletes and with our parents? I'm trying to figure out, is there coaching clinics? Are we requiring that people know or have a relationship with children?
Right.
Like, because you have to build a relationship with these players, right? And you have to build a relationship with these parents. But my question for you is this, for you, because you are a head coach. Do you require that your coaches go to coaching clinics and have an understanding of how to build positive relationships with kids?
Right. Actually, the school on, because we're talking about high school level, they actually require it. So it's kind of taking out the head coach's hands from the rip.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now, you can, of course, we, my staff, we go to clinics together. The Sixers always have one, and different other coaching clinics that we find, we try to get to. And that whole interview process is important because you got to ask those questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you feel about being around kids?
Right.
Do you have any background, in maybe teaching or, other coaching experience? You gotta hear those experiences because, I feel as though I got a pretty good ear and a pretty good judge of character. Like, you can, basketball knowledge is good, but he also has that skill set that'll be good for my kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got the National High School Society. They have a bunch of classes, some of them free, some of them are not, that you can take online, things of that nature. And the school actually, even for me, requires that, we get these couple certificates before, before your season starts, before you can be around the kids and all that type of stuff. But I think it's a little more difficult, but at the same time, it still should be some type of requirement on that, like, Pop Warner level, because they're volunteers. But it still should be something in place. I mean, especially if you're the head of the organization or if you're the head coach or whatever your role is, one of the top guys, whatever, because that's very important. You got to make sure that we're teaching these kids whatever sport it is, the correct way to play, and also you got to know that you're able to be that person that can help them off the
and develop a relationship. Because I think if, as a coach, you don't know about youth development and you don't have no working knowledge on how to relate to children or relate to young people, the relationship between coach and player will always be hindered. Like, I think anybody that coaches kids on any level, you know what I mean? I think for a long time, that's why the requirement used to be, not anymore, but used to be that you kind of worked at the school when you coached the kids at the school, because they knew as a teacher, you had that kind of skill set to have a relationship. So I think parents need to know that when you have these coaches around your kids, you want these coaches to be able to develop your kids in their craft, right? And in their skill set and in their athletic event. But you also want the right people to have a relationship with your child that will best suit your child in the long term.
Right, most definitely.
You know what I mean? And I understand I'll say it again, we're in a microwave world where everybody wants things quick. But when you're someone's coach for 4 years, right? You want them to have a relationship, a good, solid relationship for 4 years. So in order to have a solid relationship, the person that's coaching your kid has to know about youth development, has to be able to weather the storm when your son or daughter comes in with an attitude. Or hypothetically, your young lady, your coach, you're coaching girls, and your young lady, hormones change or her life changes. You got to have somebody that's able to work through that and have youth development knowledge so they can be the best person that's secondary to the parent, because that's what a coach is.
Right, true indeed.
You know, a coach is like a secondary to a parent. A teacher, like I broke this down for somebody, and people, they looked at me kind of cockeyed when I said it, is because I always wanted to have a good relationship with my children's teachers. And I say that because I used to wake my kids up in the morning at 7:30. They had to be to school by 8:20. They came home from school at 4 o'clock, right? I came home from work 4, sometimes 5, depending on sometimes 6 or 7, right? Dinner was at 7, 6, 7. They took baths and showers at 8, and they was in bed by 8:39. I really only spent an hour in the morning with my kid and maybe 3 hours at night, for a total of 4 hours a day, where the teacher had my kids from 8:20 to 4 o'clock. So the teacher is really with my kid kind of more than I am. So I always wanted to have a good relationship with my child's teacher so I can make sure we're all on the same page. So they're enforcing what I'm teaching at home. And that's the same way with coaches. Since if my kid's an athlete, you figure practice is at 4, sometimes it's over at 7, right? That's 3 hours. So in that 3 hours, I want to make sure I have the right person. I have a relationship with that person so I can make sure they're reinforcing what I'm doing at home. When I'm talking about not talking back. When I'm talking about there's consequences to your actions. When I'm talking about having a good attitude. When I'm talking about don't ever hold your head down, keep your head up. When I'm talking about, you made a mistake, but it's always the next time. When I'm talking about, when I give that at home, I want to make sure I have a relationship and I understand who the coach is, and I have an understanding with the coach so they'll know this is what I'm teaching at home. And when it happens on your field or in your court, correct the behavior.
Got you.
Make the adjustment. We got to support each other. So when I see my kid mouthing off at the coach, I correct it because you don't do that at home. But I need to have a relationship with the coach. So the coach can say to me, yo, T, today she mouthed off at practice. I mean, I made her do a couple laps, but
just let you know,
but that's having an open relationship, so the coach can come to you and be like, listen, little Johnny was out of sorts today. I talked to him, or my coach talked to him, but I'm letting you know, so when you go home, you can talk to him a little more so we can find out what's going on. Or if something goes on at home, I'm hoping as a coach, I'm open enough to my parents so my parents can call and say, listen, I'm letting Johnny come to practice, but this is what happens. So talk to him if you can after practice, or make him run a couple extra laps. Like, yo, I heard you did X, Y, and Z. Boom.
Do it all the time.
Run that. You know, so, and that's the relationship part of it. That's the building relationship, you know, and the professional relationship. Because, again, we focusing on a positive outcome for the child or the athlete.
For the child. And that's a lot of times, you know, coaches like make mistakes with not putting, like, this is all about our student athletes, you know what I'm saying, who we're coaching, you know what I'm saying? So all these relationships should be based on trying to, that growth that you talked about earlier, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes coaches get in their own way with relationships because they lose sight of what we're doing here.
They lose sight of the student, and they also lose the sight of, I get it, if you don't win, you're going to get fired. Right. I get that. But I also understand as a coach, right, whether you're an athletic coach, whether you're a life coach, whether you're a teacher, which is coaching, whatever your position is, the goal is to uplift the next person and instill upon that person some positive qualities so they can grow.
True.
Right? Whether it's adult on adult, adult on a child, adult on a peer, you know what I mean? It's just, you have to be able to establish that relationship and understand that your whole focus should be uplifting.
True.
And encouraging.
True indeed. And one more relationship that I just want to touch on before we wrap this up, Cousin, is relationship between coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never been that coach. If another coach came to me and asked me for something, and I'm in position to be able to help that coach out, you know what I'm saying? If I don't know if it's a drill or if he's asking about a certain player or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? I've never been that coach to be like, I'm too good to talk to you, or, you know what I'm saying? I'm worried about me. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. I don't want to. I try to build relationship because I don't know everything. Like we said in one of those episodes, if you at a point where you think you can't learn no more, then you might as well retire.
Right.
Things change.
But I think that has a lot to do with ego as well.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Like because
I've never had that ego
one coach may look at another coach and be intimidated. But instead of being intimidated, we all need to build relationships because, again, it's about the kids. It's about the student athletes. So if, as a coach, somebody comes to me and inquires about this person, and here's the information for this person, but hey, go talk to that coach over there because that coach has a better relationship.
Right.
Or, go check that coach out because that coach has a good squad.
Right.
I don't think there's a lot of that going on. I think, because I remember we talked about South Jersey coaching, like it's like some weird.
It's like some dynamics that goes on at some
the
time.
Dynamics is weird.
They don't want to let certain people in, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you're shunned, and don't be asking me no questions because I'm giving you no answers type situation.
Right, and I don't understand that because.
To me, coaching is a fraternity almost. You know what I'm saying?
It should be.
It should be, right. It should be.
Should be a brotherhood, sisterhood. And I should be able to come to you whether I lose to you or not and be like, yo, like, you know that play you, let me see that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You know
what I mean? Because most of the time when you watch somebody's concept, their play, when you watch it and you look at it, you tweak it for your own situation anyway.
Right, exactly,
but I don't understand why it can't be a positive conversation or,
you know what I'm saying?
And rivalry is good for anybody.
Oh, most definitely.
Rivalry definitely is good for the spirit.
That's the name of the sport.
But ultimately, you still want to have a good relationship with other coaches because you never know when you're going to need somebody else.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for, because I've seen some, and I'm blessed because I've never really been in that situation, especially coming from a head coaching point of view. But I've seen some staffs, like the head coach don't get along with his assistant coaches and things of that nature. I'm like, how does that build a positive outcome
for the kids
and the coaches are not even getting along, and the kids are seeing this and they know the coaches don't get along? Like, what are we doing here? But
I think a lot of times in the coaching world, sometimes some of these coaches got to take a look at themselves and say, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? When you look at your program, and that's for male, female, big kid, little kid, when you look at your program and there's no progression, what are we doing here?
Yes.
When as a coach, when you start shunning people and you don't want them to come help you, but yet you're not thriving, and you could use some help, what are we doing here? Is your ego that big that you don't want to develop relationships with other people because you're intimidated, or because you're bullheaded, whatever the reason needs to be. But we need to understand, in order to get a successful outcome for the children, you have to build relationships. Whether it's with a person that you get to come in 1 or 2 days to help out. You got to build relationships, but you can't shun people. When you shun people and cut off and sever relationships and sever ties, you may be damaging the outcomes for the kids. So what are we doing here?
What are we doing here? Well, as you always do, I don't know how you do this. I don't know, do you plan this or does it just kind of come out? Like,
it's not planned, it kind of comes out. You know,
I'm telling you, our viewers out there, I swear I don't have a buzzer that I'll buzzer like, all right, time for you to drop the drums. I'm telling you, it's all the live and in living color. And she does it every episode. It's episode 17, and she's been doing it since she's been on this show, and I'm so grateful for her, you know what I'm saying? Because
I'm thankful. I'm thankful, but you know, it just it comes from being in a different space, a different place, right? And just realizing
you're passionate,
right,
so,
right,
you know what I'm saying?
and just realizing, you know, what your outcomes want to be. Like for me, the dropping of the gems is just my thoughts and what I think and how I feel. And again, my passion, my compassion, my empathy, my sympathy, all of it, what I've been through, all of it makes you realize and reflect on some things that touches bases with a lot of things that has to do with athletics. Because for us being athletes, I've learned how to handle adversity from being an athlete.
Right.
You know, and like I try to explain to my granddaughter, you know, you're not going to win all the time. Somebody has to lose. But in losing, you always learn a lesson, you know. And for a long time, for me, those cards that I was dealt wasn't always the best cards, but I still had to play the hand out. You know what I mean? I still had to develop relationships, so when I crap out or when I fold, somebody else can pick up the pieces. Pick up the pieces. Yeah. So you know, the gem dropping is about me aging out, you know, maturity.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, on that note, we're gonna leave that right there. Any shout outs before we get out of here?
Nah, just my usual shout out to my family, and I appreciate everyone, and thanks for the support from everyone. Again, like, subscribe, and get the notifications so you can watch, you know, every episode and rewatch episodes of the Birdcage. You can drop some comments, but again, thank you to everybody that's supporting us. You know, we appreciate it.
True. That's you know, basically, you know what I mean, because it's no us without them. You know what I'm saying? So definitely want to give you guys a shout out. Please, like Cousin Tracey said, you know, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, leave your comments. Let us know. You could critique us. You know what I'm saying?
You can. And one thing, football season's coming up, and although you may not have children at these prospective area schools, kind of just show up to the games, because the kids like the crowds. It feels good to be out there, and you'd be surprised. You may know some of the parents, but you know, again, high school football is upon us. High school field hockey is upon us. You know, just, you know, even though you don't have kids, just show up. Support your friends that are coaches. Support your parents that have kids, your friends that have kids. You know, all
relationships.
of that. Relationships, right?
Building positive relationships.
You
know what I'm saying? Building positive relationships.
Oh yeah, so when this airs, we have to say happy birthday to Cousin A.
Cousin A, happy birthday. You know what I'm saying? We love you. We're definitely going to get you back on here. You know what I mean? Enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? And on that note, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Once again, I'm CETSHWAYO, a.k.a. Coach Byrd, and I am the host of the BYRDCAGE Show, and we will talk to you soon.
It was a stone groove, my man.